Hello, everyone. Welcome to Two Peas in a Podcast. What a name. What a name. Hey. It just popped into my head through a moment of inspiration through someone who commented on Twitter. I was about to send a reply to them and I was like, oh, that's it. When I sent that video,
and
mate, I was bouncing.
You know what? We should insert the video of you letting me know this information right here.
Oh my God. I have got it. The moment it hit me, I hope to God this does not exist, Shay. I was reading the Twitter comments. Some guy said very recently, like the last few minutes, how could he have forgotten you on the tag for the whole podcast thing? And I nearly replied, yes, how could you forget? We are two peas in a pod. And then it hit me. Two peas in a podcast. Fucking have it. Fucking have it. Two peas in a podcast. You can thank me later.
Mate. Wait, where was I? I think I was at work when you sent that. Was I at work? Oh, I can't remember now. But yeah, just seeing your excitement, I was just like, this guy's
bouncing off. That was the sort of toned down version. I was like, oh, fuck. Bouncing around the room. I couldn't even say peas. Two peas in the podcast. I was like, two peas in the podcast.
Well, hopefully the audience like the name. Hopefully it sticks around too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite clever. And we are, in terms of what we do on YouTube and stuff, I think we are quite very similar. So it's just very apt as well. I love it. I think it's great. But thank you for watching the videos. We hope you find them interesting. We try and cover many subjects from just general chit chat, from, advice. If we can give advice, take it with a pinch of salt, mind, because, we are who we are. We're not professionals. That's the disclaimer. We're not professionals. If you're going to get pro advice, do seek that elsewhere. And things like, talking about, what do we call it?
Stuff.
Manly things, yeah. Things that, advice you wish you had as a kid.
And things you wouldn't necessarily hear on our individual channels.
True. Today, we're going to be talking about manscaping.
I don't even know how that came about.
Well, I could tell you how I come up with the idea for this. So I was having a shower this morning and I thought, because I know you moved the time from 12 or whatever time it is, 8 o'clock till 10:30. And I was like, it'd be funny if you still thought, even though you told me the new time, if you still came on Zoom at the original time and I was in the middle of a shower, also manscaping. And I thought, what an awkward time that would be. And then I thought, manscaping. Is that much of a thing nowadays? I don't know. For the uninitiated, manscaping, and I quote, is the removal or trimming of hair on a man's body for cosmetic purposes. I literally got the actual description for that, in case you didn't know. And so it made me think, I know a lot of older generation perhaps either don't know what it is, don't do it. And I suppose our generation probably would. I don't know about the younger generation. I don't look at penises, I'm just putting that out there. And it made me think, what are things like around the world? So over to you, Shay. Is manscaping a thing that you do?
That I personally do.
Yes.
Yeah. I think,
we should be proud of this. I do it too, for what it's worth.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can kind of tell by just looking at a person anyway, just how they present themselves. Like I'm always like, fairly clean.
Yeah.
So it's
I would agree.
Translate to,
you want to feel good about yourself, feel confident, that.
And even more so when in the Philippines, you may have some plans on meeting up with a special someone.
Someone's. Let's make that plural.
Yeah, not wrong there, not wrong. You want to look decent.
Yes. And I also think it's a confidence thing, even though maybe, obviously you're different perhaps, but for me, even though no one really is ever going to see that, it just makes me feel more confident. I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet. I've had a lot of compliments over the years. I once had an ex text me a few years after we broke up, randomly out the blue, and I was like, just chatting away as you do. And I was like, what did they started texting me for? Why? What's brought this on? So I inquired and I said, so why have you got in touch with me again? Why did I come to your mind all of a sudden? And I swear to God, she said her and her friends were talking about the best they've ever had. And I was hers.
Oh,
and I was like, He's cracked. Take a bow. Anyway, I'm not one for blowing my own trumpet, but case studies I'll always love. Yeah, so feeling good about oneself. No one else is really going to see this, but I think it's a good confidence boost. Makes me feel better. It's like when you have your hair cut. You don't physically have to see yourself, but you have your hair cut, you feel sharp, you feel good, you feel, I don't know, more in proportion perhaps. So I always feel, I don't know if you're the same, but with my hair, when it grows, it kind of, not an afros or anything, but it kind of makes my face look smaller because my hair is getting longer. So shave that back, and I feel like more confident in myself. So I feel like just trimming it all down. Yeah. I feel like trimming it all down makes me feel like I'm in a better shape, even though I may not necessarily be in a better shape. It's a bit of an illusion.
And sometimes it's good to stay game ready, if you know what I mean. You never know what's going to happen that day.
That's true. And also, nobody wants a pube in their teeth. Just saying.
You're really going in at this.
Mate, holding no barriers here.
I'm like that when I'm traveling. If I'm like leaving the country, you got to be prepared. You got to be ready to go.
Absolutely.
All times. Yeah.
Traveling is a big thing as well. So when I travel, everything gets cut. My hair gets cut.
Yeah,
everything gets trimmed. Just the face. It's just less hassle abroad, isn't it? Last thing you want to go to a hot country and sweat literally your bollocks off.
Yeah, I'm exactly like that. Everything's fully done, ready to go.
So as we're talking about manscaping, be good for you guys to chip in on this as well in the comments below. Want to know if something you want, or something that you do, something you'd like to do, thought about doing perhaps, and techniques as well. Because one thing we haven't talked about is technique. Because this, I feel, is a bit of a minefield. It's not something that people talk about, which I guess is the reason why we're talking about it. People are often going, I would imagine, curious. Is there a way of doing it? Is there a type of tool that you use? And I guess for me, I'm not saying my way is the best way. It's kind of why I wanted to talk about it.
Two tools.
You got two tools. See, this is interesting now. Maybe it's something I invested in the future. Go ahead. What's your technique? And this is just
based on, because I cut my own hair, and I've been cutting my hair for like over a decade. So I know how to cut hair like a certain way, how I want it to go without, pissing out blood, and so you got to obviously trim it down. So you need, whatever hair trimmers you can get. It can vary on number.
So with like an electric trimmer.
Yeah, an electric trimmer. So you trim it down. And then a single blade razor for those tricky places. So you can get nice and smooth. So when they... that was supposed to be like a tongue. Like butter.
See, I really struggle. I'm not going to lie. I have an electric razor, electric shaver trimmer. And I don't. Sometimes I've used sort of like the gradient. I don't know what it's called.
The
gradient bit, and I trim it down. But sometimes I just go like completely without one, and then I just use electric trimmer on that. And I can do sort of like the top area, but like getting underneath,
you got to be careful,
mate. It's getting tricky by the year. I swear to God. Like as things start getting lower in my more senior age of 33. There are folds in places where you don't want them to be. It's tricky. Like you think to yourself, stretch it out like a blanket. And like, as you get nearer with that trimmer, the testicles go, whoop, no.
Yeah,
no. And it's
this
so hard.
Yeah, this is where the single blade comes into play.
That panicked me more. I'd worry about splicing my bollocks out.
See, I feel safe with that. I'm more skillful with that. Down there, so
do you use like a cream or anything like?
Oh before?
Yeah. So you treat it easy with your face, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I've stabbed myself a few times. It's awful.
Oh, in my younger days, I have. Over time, you become somewhat of a professional at doing it yourself.
So a single blade, like a proper actual razor.
Single blade. Yeah.
Interesting.
No. I'm not very good with those. I don't trust those. But like just a normal.
Oh, just a normal. Yeah. Okay.
But a single blade.
Interesting.
Less blades to worry about.
Yes. Yeah, I do worry about that. I mean, you get a bit overconfident as well, I think. You can easily start like getting used to it and getting faster, a bit more precise with your motions. And then sometimes you nick yourself just a little bit and you're like, you bastard.
Not good. And then I've done that.
I never get it completely hairless. it's always like little spriggy.
Oh yeah.
Which I prefer, I think. I think if you went completely bald, I think you look like a 12-year-old boy, so it might be a bit weird.
yeah.
So you got to leave
I've
a little
done
bit
that
on,
before.
right?
Yeah, I've done that before, and it's not the go.
No.
I mean, some females like it like that, but most usually want a little bit, just a little bit.
You are still a man after all.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I wonder if people wax. I'd be interested to find out, because on the face of it, the thought of waxing my underparts, no.
I think those who wax that end up doing fucking everything. They're like on all fours, like everything.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's not me.
Makes you appreciate the ladies more, doesn't it? Like when they wax, it's like, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
I know what it must be like.
I was gonna do something, but I better not. Thank you for doing this.
You're gonna cut that at the podcast, aren't you?
We're gonna have to. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, brilliant.